it's Katie with See Me, Unlocking Resources for the Neurodiverse. And this is my dad, Charlie, and Mia and Sadie, Adleys. These are what we call Adleys therapy dogs. Those of you who don't know Adley, Adley is my 5-year-old. He has severe ADHD, severe anxiety, and disruptive mood dysregulation disorder. He's the one that you saw doing the cooking videos if you watched the last video. He's the one that we'll be talking a lot about on this channel. So I have my dad along today. He's down for the weekend. He came down to watch. Adley has his first hockey tournament this weekend ever. So dad came down to watch and cheer him on. So I just thought it'd be kind of a cool opportunity to hop on and talk with him kind of a little bit about what it's like, not only like watching your grandson go through this struggle, but watching your daughter go through this struggle, your other grandson who's the older brother. So he was willing to climb on and be an active participant in this journey with us. So yeah, we'll just kind of chat about what it's been like for you. So last week when Katie and I were on here, we talked a little bit about like when we first recognized there was something up with Adley. Do you kind of remember when you first started to have concerns about Adley?
Well, obviously, you think as a parent or a grandparent, you think it's behavioral, the kid needs to be tied up and beat, which is not the case. But it just, you see the pain and the agony that the immediate family goes through, and it's extreme pain, and it's very hard to see and very hard to watch. I had a lot of agony over the whole situation, but I do believe that Katie did the right things and is on the right path, although it's been a struggle, and it still is a struggle. It's not over yet. But as a grandparent, you just want to see them be happy and the grandkids be happy. And yeah, I guess my first time of really noticing that was really a problem was when you came up to Bemidji for that weekend, and we went to the grocery store.
And I talked about this on the last. So he's referencing the situation that I talked about in the last video up by the cash register. So I'll let you take over now.
So we had gone into the store, and Adley was fine, normal, having fun. And we get up to the registers, and you could just see him. His eyes lit up like this, and he just started shaking. And I could see that something was not right with him. And Katie said, "We got to get him out of here. We got to get out of here." And we got him out of there. We got checked out and got the heck out of there pretty quick. And it took probably 15 or 20 minutes for him to kind of deregulate and kind of get his mind back together again. But it's, as a parent, grandparent, it's really tough to watch that, Katie. It really, really is. That's hard.
Yeah, so you kind of got to see the emotional flip that happens. And I think for so many people who think initially that it's behavioral and that it's maybe a lack of discipline or oppositional behaviors, it's when you see something like that happen that it's like, whoa, there's something different going on here, because it was literally like
instant.
The way I described it last week when I talked about it was like, it's almost like he crossed a threshold. He was good, and then
a light bulb went off like a switch. And he got really weird, to say the least. Yeah,
and 10 to 15 minutes to get him to kind of calm back down is relatively good for Adley. I mean, that's a pretty short one. These triggers can lead to hours of kind of falling apart. So yeah, that was kind of the first time that you saw it happening. I also think back to the time that we came up. It was the summer that he first went on medication. So beginning of last summer, we came up and we went to Arby's.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? And his brother got a shake, so he wanted a shake. And we told him if he ate his food, he could get a shake. Simple. Not what he wanted to hear. And that was a big one.
It was bad.
So this was in a restaurant. He came unglued. I might have videos of it. If I do, I'll post it, because that's kind of the best way to give you an idea of what these things look like. But
he was out of control.
On the floor, screaming, beet red, sweating, like thrashing, spitting. And it was really emotional for me, because this was the first major fit after he went on medications.
So it felt like it was a failure.
It felt like it was a failure, because with our oldest, he went on meds, and he's been on the same meds ever since, and he's been stable, and it's been great. So a part of me was like, oh, thank God, we finally got him on meds. And then that happened, and it was like my heart fell out on the floor in Arby's because I was like, now what?
And of course, that hurt me. It was tough, hard,
Yeah,
really hard. So people need to realize that grandpas and grandmas go through this tough time too. It's not just the immediate family. It's everybody that's around you and sees it happen. But I will add to say to this, if there's people out there that feel desperate, Katie has come a long ways with Adley. We went out to the restaurant tonight and he was spectacular, perfect.
Yeah.
You know, very in control. He had a couple of times when he started getting a little ratty, but you know, most 5-year-olds do. And he got everything back under control again. So Katie and family, Casey and everybody, you guys have done a fantastic job with him.
Thank
so
you.
there is hope. It can be. You just need to find the right avenues and what works, and you'll find out what doesn't work for sure. So I'm very proud.
And thank you. And don't give up, because how many barriers we ran into to get Adley help. You have to be prepared, especially if you've got one as young as Adley, to fight and to be their advocate and be it again and again and again, because
it's just like an older person, a 90-year-old person that's in the nursing home. You have to fight for them. I have a mom that's 95 years old, and I have to fight for her. I have to make sure that she's getting good care, and she does. She's in a very good spot, but it still is. It's just the same thing. And you know, with a 5-year-old, the information that they have available is just now starting to come available, and nobody wants to do anything about it because everybody's kind of, it's unknown. It's the unknown territory. People don't know what to do, but I can just tell you, Katie is very blessed to be able to have this kid, I think, on the right path. And I think that he'll be just fine.
Yeah. So, you know, kind of what you're talking about is, so we were finally got a referral to get a neuropsych done, and we're like, oh, thank God. And then we had to wait 4 months to get the neuropsych done. And then we got the neuropsych done, and we got the diagnosis of ADHD, and we're told that stimulants would probably help. So here's a prescription, or here's the referral to your pediatrician for stimulants. And then the pediatrician says, I'm not medicating him. He's 3 years old. I'm not comfortable with that. You need to get a hold of a pediatric psychiatrist. But then they don't help you. They're like, good luck.
Yeah.
So I called
nobody knows.
I called all these pediatric psychiatrists, and they all said, we don't treat 3-year-olds. Pediatric psychiatry doesn't start until 6 to 10 years old. What? So I literally called, you guys, I have to tell you the story of how we finally found someone willing to medicate, or at that time he was 3.5. So this is a miracle, because I literally called everywhere. And we were going swimming at my aunt's house. Hi, Mookie. And on the way there, we were going to stop and eat. And this is high risk for us at this point, because this is when we're not really taking Adley in public. We went to Wendy's, and Adley was running in circles around the restaurant, and it was a Saturday at 11 o'clock, so they're swamped. And I'm like this, like just trying not to cry. He's not even eating. He's just like ripping all over the place. And we're sitting, this is pre-COVID, so we're like shoulder to shoulder with another family. It was a mom, and she had 3 little kids. And the little boy sitting next to me looks up and he says, Mommy, was I like that? And she said, yep, before you saw Dr. whatever his name is.
So the people that you were sitting with, you didn't know them?
Didn't know him at all.
Yeah.
This little boy just happened to say, Mommy, was I like that? And she said, yep, before you saw Dr. So-and-so, you were like that too. And I looked up and I said, we have a diagnosis. No one will help us. He's ADHD. Like, clearly he's ADHD, but no one will help us. And I'm saying it like this because I was so distressed. And then I'm just like trying to eat my food so I can get Adley the heck out of there. And then the lady kind of looked up and she goes, they won't help him because of his age. And I'm like, yep, no one will help him. We're told he has severe ADHD, but that's it. Good luck. And I finished eating, and I got Adley and took him out to the car because he wasn't safe. You know, previously he's run out the front door of restaurants. So when he's doing this, you got to get him safe. So I took him out to the car, and Casey and Riley stayed in the restaurant to finish eating. And now I'm in the car crying because I'm just like, we can't even go to a fast food restaurant. Like, that's how bad this has gotten.
Mm-hmm.
And Casey comes out to the car like 10 minutes later and he says the name of the clinic and the name of the doctor. And I'm like, what? And he's like, the name of the clinic, the name of the doctor. They'll medicate him. They'll help us. That's who they see.
The lady gave you the number.
The lady gave my husband the number, and we called, and I had him in within 2 days and on medications within 2 days. So Adley acting out that day in that restaurant at that given time, and that little boy's courage to say something is what got us help. So I think that's the other part of the nonprofit that Katie and I are starting, is to break the stigma. Because if that little boy wasn't brave enough and that mom wasn't brave enough in that moment to say out loud what they said, I don't know how bad this could have got. I mean,
Where you'd be.
Adley's been in very dangerous situations as far as running into traffic and as far as, aggressive behaviors, no fear, no knowledge of danger. Yeah. So, don't be afraid to talk about your stuff, because you don't know who's going to be the person who can help you. You don't know who's going to be the person who can support you. I've dumped my shit on a lot of people. I've called my dad just bawling and being like, I would call him and be like, I'm not the right mom for him. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not helping him. I'm not the right mom for him. I can't do this. And I didn't know how to do it. And I felt like I was making it worse. And I think I was at that point because I didn't know how to parent a special needs kid. I really didn't.
Part of the process.
And at that point, we didn't know if it was mental health or behavioral. Mm-hmm. At that point, it's just like, what is happening? The things that we're seeing out of him are so much bigger than a 3-year-old. No. We had never seen anything like that because our oldest was a lot more calm, and he's ADD. They ended up dropping the H from him, so he's just ADD. So he's just kind of out to lunch most of the time and on his own little planet. But we never had the hyperactivity and the behavioral issues, so that was all new to us. Mm-hmm. But, I like what you started with talking about, like, if you haven't seen this and thinking it's a disciplinary thing, because I think, like, that is a really common assumption or judgment that people make, mm-hmm. whether that's people close to you or people at the supermarket or, people in the doctor's office when you can't keep your kid corralled for more than 2 seconds. And the reason that you don't get on their case in public is because if I get on his case in public and say, sit down, that's the rules, we're going to sit, he's going to dysregulate even more. So it's mm-hmm. picking my battles and knowing that at least if he's running in circles, he's not destroying the waiting room. But to other people, it looks like you're just letting them do whatever they want.
And then that's why I suggested that you have some cards made up that you can hand to people.
I'll show you. So this is, my dad had suggested this a while back. Like, it's almost like you need like a card so that you can help people understand what the heck is going on. Because when we're in a crisis, we're all dysregulated, mm-hmm. and we're all just trying to breathe and get out of there safely. So we created these, and these are called Stomp Out Stigma cards. So SOS cards. So the thought with these are that I can carry them, and when we're in line at the grocery store and Adley starts coming unglued, mm-hmm. and people are staring, I can literally just be like, sorry, here, just please check this out, and I can get Adley out of there. So then on the back of it, it says, see me, I am neurodiverse. That means I have a diagnosis that can sometimes make certain situations difficult for me. Some symptoms of my diagnosis you may see include nonverbal, tantrums, eloping, screaming, hitting, crying, and many more. Please understand my caregiver is doing the best they can to help me in this situation. If you want to learn more about what it means to be neurodiverse, please go to seemeneurodiverse.org. So I'm hoping these cards can help us feel like we don't have to explain to anybody what's going on. All we have to do is hand them this and get our littles to safety, get ourselves to safety.
And you just got those cards.
We just got these made. These are hot off the press.
Have you given anybody one of those yet?
I brought them to dinner tonight, and Adley was so good I did not have to give one out. And that is probably the first time that I've ever felt like I didn't have to be like, sorry, he has pretty bad ADHD. Yeah. But I had them with me tonight. That's why they're in this cute little bag.
Yeah. You bought quite a few of them, by the way.
I brought a huge stack because, like, that's how things can go. And these are something that we're going to have available. So if this is something that you think you could benefit from, reach out to us. You can get a hold of us through the website, neurodiverse.org, or you can email us at neurodiverse@gmail.com, and we can get you some of these. So our hope is that it gets us out of a jam. We don't have to say anything. You just hand the card off. But also it's going to help to reduce stigma. So these
and it
people
might help somebody else too that maybe got a grandson or a granddaughter in that same
and be
position.
like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be something more going on with my kiddo.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, and so like I have my blog, Adley's Journey, that a lot of people follow. And I've had people say to me since reading my blog, the same thing is happening, because they used to say like, or think in their head like, get your kid under control.
Yeah.
And now they think they have different thoughts because of reading our blog and hearing what we've gone through with Adley.
Mm-hmm.
People now think like, ooh, I hope everything's okay with that family.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hope with these, is we can hand them out and maybe people will take a second to read them and think like, who am I to judge, because I didn't have a clue that there could be something going on, or like, wow, maybe my kiddo has got something going on. I should look into this.
Mm-hmm.
And then also like it gets us the quickest way we can just hand this off and get out of there and make sure that everybody in our family is safe.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, if there's something you're interested in, just get a hold of us, and I can put the email address in the comments below also. So yeah, those are SOS cards, Stomp Out Stigma cards. It's not easy going in public with Adley. It's not, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, sometimes
Keeping in mind, folks, that this is probably 80% better than it was a year or two ago.
Yeah.
From my experience this weekend, I've been down here the whole weekend, and he's been really pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And at 80% better, it's still like, okay, kind of buckle up and get ready, because it's still really little things can trigger Adley. You know, being thirsty sometimes is hard for him to identify, and that can trigger him. Being hot is something that can trigger him. Being tired. So it doesn't always take him not getting a toy or him not, getting to play outside when he wants to. Sometimes it's just an internal physiological thing that can trigger him into these fits. So it's still really scary taking him in public, because we don't really know what's going to happen. So tonight was really cool. We were also with my niece Isabel, who's 9 months older than Adley, and it's cool to be able to see them play together and not have to worry like, oh god, like what's gonna happen. Like, he did really, really well tonight. So
very, very polite at the restaurant. Ordered for him, and he ordered for his cousin.
He ordered for me too.
Oh, cool. It was.
And then he asked the waitress, can you please turn on the Wild? Because he wanted to watch the hockey game.
Yeah.
And then she turned it on, and he yelled across the restaurant. He looked at her and he goes, thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely come a long ways. And like I said last week, we're not in the clear, because we've had these moments before. So if you're someone in this mix right now with your kids, just know that things change. Their brains change, the meds change, the metabolism of the medications change. And depending on, how the medications are metabolized, what they're eating can contribute to the way it's metabolized. There's a lot of variables that go into medication management, and it's a process. Adley started meds at 3.5. He's now 5.5, and we don't have his meds figured out. So, take care of yourselves as the parents, as the caretakers. If you're older siblings watching this, take care of yourselves, because it's not easy being in any one of those roles, and we're no good to anybody else if we don't take care of ourselves. So finding whatever ways you can for self-care, and if that's something you need help with, reach out, because I struggle with it myself, and I have to be better about that too, so we can help each other out. But
Yeah, there's a lot of love to go around.
Yeah. So, like Grandpa said, Adley has come a long ways. We're really proud of him. I'm grateful for your support. You and Ann, I feel like, really have our backs, and you really have Adley's back. And I completely trust reaching out to you guys for support, because you'll tell it like it is, and you'll support us, and you'll love us no matter what. And I know Adley feels super safe with you guys too. He's so excited that you're here this weekend to watch watch him play hockey, which he's so proud of, and it's an hour of the day that he can just be
Adley.
Adley, a 5-year-old little boy. There's no distress happening. He's just Adley, so it's pretty cool. So, as always, if you have questions or if there's more questions that you might have for Grandpa, if you're a grandparent and there's other things that you might want to ask Grandpa, write your questions in the comments below, and I can always reach out to Grandpa, and we could even do like a Zoom interview that we could post on here for follow-ups. But I appreciate you guys watching this, and stay healthy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you get notified when future videos are posted. Thanks for tuning in, and stay healthy, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you, Dan.
Good night.